Well, as we've been talking about the wandering and the book of Numbers and even the people of Israel as they got free from God and free from their slavery. Tonight our topic is really talking about how the people of Israel wanted to go back to their old life. They wanted to go back to slavery. Isn't that crazy? I mean, to see all the things that they had seen from God, to have experienced his power in many ways defeating the Israelites, the people of Israel decided it would probably be better for them if they could go back to slavery rather than be led by God and be led by their leaders. That's troubling, because you know what? That shows us something about ourselves, something about humans. And that thing is that a lot of times we're more comfortable with things we know than trusting God. Trusting God with our lives, trusting God with the things going on around us. That's what's going on. See, the people of Israel, they sent spies in to spy out the land, and what they saw scared them. In their finite minds, they could not imagine how they would ever be able to defeat these people. They said there were giants there. And when the people heard this, instead of saying, "You don't know my God, you don't know how my God can defeat giants," they started to get scared. And they started to grumble, and they started to grumble against Moses and Aaron, and they said, "We need a new leader, a leader that will take us and lead us back to Egypt, back to our old life." I think about that, and I think about how sometimes it's just easier to not worry about righteousness or worry about loving God, and how it'd be nice just to be able to do whatever I want. I have that deep down inside in my flesh, where I think the old life is better. The old life and the things that I used to do, it didn't seem as much work as sometimes it is to follow Christ. As much work to do what he wants. You ever think about that? And sometimes it seems like it's labor intensive to follow Jesus, to do what he wants us to do. That's an interesting thought. And I think that's what we're seeing here in the people of Israel, that they're feeling the labor, the fear of trusting God. God is asking them to put their lives, to put their trust in him, because they're going to go to battle with people that they frankly can see that there's no way they're going to be able to defeat them. Let me show you what God's word says. Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. And all the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The whole congregation said to them, "Would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would that we have died in the wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land? To fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become prey. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" And they said to one another, "Let us choose a leader and go back to Egypt." The Numbers 14, the last part of it, ends with the people of Israel hearing God's judgment upon them. And they hear that God is going to put them in the wilderness. They're never going to see the promised land. They realize they've gone too far, that God is displeased and judgment is upon them. And so what would you do? Hopefully I would obey. I'd say, "Okay, God, I'm sorry. The years I have left, I want to honor you, and I want to follow you." But the people decide, "No, we've gone too far. Let us go to war. We'll trust you now, God." And so the next morning they wake up and they go to war with the people that they were fearing, thinking that God would now come and be by their side and help them through it. And they're destroyed. They lose a lot of people, and it's foolishness, actually. It seems to me like the people really wanted to do things on their terms. They wanted to control everything that was going on. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Control. Who's going to control your life? Who's going to control your family? Who's going to control your retirement account? Who's going to control your work and the relationships at work? Who's going to control your church? And the answer to that is, and there's really only one answer, one right answer: sovereign God of the universe, or you. Do you really think you have what it takes to control it all? I know I don't. And so let's just pray this week that we will give up control, that we will surrender our lives. We will lay down our lives as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to our God, for Him to do as He pleases, and for Him to shine, and for Him to work, so the world will know how great is our God.